Getting jiggy with it. I'm Will, and today we're opening another big old box, and that is Townsfolk Tussle. So this game was provided to us by Panic Roll to do a preview of it, so we've got to get this done in a rapid manner, meaning if you're watching this unboxing, we're most likely going to be playing the game within the week, because then we need to ship it off to the next reviewer. Unfortunately, that does mean that we are not going to be able to paint the minis, and you won't be able to see how good of a job we did. We even offered to paint it before we sent it on, and the publisher said, no, don't do that. So let's go ahead and get the camera switched over, and we will take a look at what is inside. All right, here we go. It is a big box. It is nowhere near fitting on my screen here. I can tilt the phone up a little bit. You can see there is the top of the box. There's the bottom of the box. Art all the way around. So this, I really like this. As soon as I saw this, of course, we started into the hobby last year, so we completely missed this Kickstarter, and they don't have any extra. When I reached out to them saying, hey, you know, we'd even buy a copy, you know, don't have to necessarily send us a review copy. We would buy a copy. They had none. Now, they did say that there is going to be another Kickstarter coming up. They just weren't, I guess, expecting how popular this was going to be. And I think channels like Quackalope kind of calling it Kingdom Death Light has really got a lot of people interested. And then there's the back portion there where you can see all of the wonderful components, the age, and all of that. So we'll probably have to do this off camera. Now, I did have to go look online because, of course, this was repacked just to make sure everything was in there. It is. But I'm going to upfront say I'm going to rebox this because we're going to start reboxing as I've done a couple other unboxings recently. But this insert is horribly done for what comes in the box. Like, there's no rhyme or reason where anything's supposed to fit. And on top of that, some items don't fit at all. And then other areas, there's like a huge emptiness. And I'll show you that if I can through the camera when we get down there. So this first tray here are the minis. So of course, we always do the minis last because the minis are what everybody wants to see. And that encourages you to watch the video, or I guess you don't necessarily have to watch the video. I guess you could technically just fast forward to when I start going over the minis. So here is the game board. Here you go. I'm not sure what is up and down. I'm guessing the words terrain would need to be on the bottom. So this is taking up a little bit of room. I'm having to slide things around on the table here a bit. Extra life dice is hanging out up here in the way. So there we go. There is the board. So it is a big honking board. Can't even see it all. I mean, this is like halfway. This is the halfway mark of the board, and it keeps going. But yeah, so this will look great on a overhead cam. I just noticed that we opened this once before during our big boxing. We had a live stream when we came back from the holidays, but I didn't notice this last time. There's body parts and blood out in the field. Oh man. But I think I was starting this and I probably got distracted. The reason I wanted this is the art style. I really, was into the art style, saw this and immediately was like, hey, Cuphead, I like that art style. Don't like the game. I gave up on the game. My nieces and nephews wanted to play it. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And let's just say they gave up after a few minutes. They were like, nope, too hard. I was like, I told you. Table of contents. Oh, no, not of course. And that's what we're doing, trying to figure out who murdered who. There's a murderer. There are your character cards, all the minis. Now, this is another game where they gave both the minis and the standees in the game. So that is always nice for those that want the standees. Also really nice for us painters because then we know how to paint it. Choosing a town, your gear, the town phase. So I did watch a playthrough on Quackalope when they were playing through it, so I kind of understand some of this. Your fight phase. The landscape, basically setting it up. Ruffians on that side with the Ruffians turn. And then, oh wow, a whole action diagram there for you to show how they work. That's really nice. Ruffian action examples. Townsfolk turn, which is our turn. Our weapons. Combat factories. The final fight. And then the results. Let's see how the tale comes to an end. These pages contain final results. Hey, spoilers. Don't read. But yeah, so that's the last part of the story. Oh, there's a lot of Okay, so it must change based on who it is because this is more than the number of bad guys in it. Special objective tracker. Um, so I guess each 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 12 bad guys, and there's 2 each, which makes 24 things. Here is the graveyard. So everybody who was a backer. So you can see everybody here. There's Crackalope on here. I thought he was in, or maybe he's on the box. So there's more people on the box. So this must be the Bowerheads to those who perished in the dastardly ruffian attacks, taking them and absorbing their last words. So this must have been a different pledge level, maybe, to get here. Maybe. I don't know. Random FAQs, game mode variants, special thank you, and quick lookup. And then the, I guess, crit hit guide. And then shows your tiles. It's kind of weird that this is here. So not show the tiles up front with the components. No, okay, it says terrain tiles, and then you have to come back here to know what the terrain tiles are. Okay. All right, town phase, fight phase, ruffians defeat. So that is a big manual. How many pages? That was 31. Wow. Let's just the rules without the story bits. Just the rules are 21 pages. That is a thick book. All right. Property of Bort D, things to do. So this is just a map of the location that we are, I guess, playing in, the world that we're in. This is, all right, so we got the Standees here. So these are the Standees. They're not punched. The previous reviewers haven't punched it, so I'm not punching them either. Although they do pop out really easily. A couple of them you can see, like this one has already been popped out. This one's already been popped out. See, I just barely tapped that on the front, and that one just popped out. So they pop out pretty easy, so don't have to worry about tearing and ripping. It is nice that they're double-sided, so you get the front and the back of them. So I know a lot of times Standees are the same on both sides. This one's nice. They did a front and a back. Ish. Stay where you're supposed to be. All right, let's slide you off without trying to knock any more of you out of your spots. Not like they can't go back in. All right. So here's again one of the game trades inserts. I'm guessing, since this is the way that the last reviewer packed it, these are the most important components. So it's your money, and then looks like a whole bunch of jelly beans. Yeah, just a bunch of jelly beans. Not sure what the jelly beans are for. Jelly beans. Right. And then these are the heroes. So we have Granny Melba. We have Norman Fishboard. Quintus Bench. Yancey Plowbird. Henlo Bulwark. The Blopsy Twins. And Georgie Irongut. This one's kind of... He's not even a thing. He's like dead. This is like a parasite controlling the dead goat body. This is what's actually alive. And so here's the front side of them. So you have your tracks. That's what we got. We got health, movement, moxie, and accuracy. And then they have specific player abilities or things about them. So farsighted, add X to Granny's accuracy roll when attacking, where X equals the number of squares between her and the target. So basically, if you're far away, she's going to be able to do more damage. Lover's discount, Granny Peddler, sure seem well acquainted. You receive 2 coin discount when you purchase peddler gear worth 7 coins or more. So it allows you to buy the more expensive gear for less. And so they each have their own special ability. So because of the limited amount of time, I doubt we're going to be able to do like we normally do. Normally we get through and we're able to play multiple games. But I think we only have, at the time of this recording, I think we only have a week left. So we may only get one playthrough. If we have more than a week left, until they tell us to send it back, we might go ahead and do some additional playthroughs. Well, I guess it's also if we like it, because if we don't like it, why are we going to keep playing it? So here we go. This is the town phase board. So we have the peddler down here in the bottom, And then we see at the top, it goes through the phase. So draw back up to 3 feats, resolve the town events, shop here, and then enter the fight phase. And then here's the fight phase board. So you have your action, discard, ruffian movement, ruffian health. So that is another board. So here is the baddies. So there are 2 sides, right? One is the setup, right? So it goes over how to set up this particular bad guy. And then if you defeat the boss, so there's 3 outcomes. Okay, so that's why I was wondering whether there's like over 36, but that would make sense. 3 times 12 is 36. If you defeat him, read 19. If you also completed the special objective, read 10 instead. If you lose, read 18, right? And they got their weakness. But yeah, so we have, I guess we'll do it this way then. So you have Bort Dovis. You have Penny Pichetti. Penny Pichetti. You have Hansy. You also have an earthquake. Hansy calls an earthquake. You have Will Barlow. Virginia Fitz. Umbrello. It's basically just an umbrella. King and Queen. Deputy Wagums. The Bunny Bandless, the Endless Sword. Maybe we'll play the Bunny Bandits. Oddly likes her bunnies. Although I don't know if she wants us to be killing the bunnies. The Sacrificial Fields is, oh, there we go. Samuel Strawman. No, man, that was a disturbing image. Lawman Dozy. We have Pepin Milkfrog. Those are the baddies. I don't know if there's a difficulty on them. They don't seem to list their difficulty. Let me look at the health. 6, 11, 5, 12, 6, 11, 6. They all look like they're the same. Either 6, 11. That one's 6, 12, 6, 11, 6, 11, 6, or 5, 12, 7, 11. That's a little bit more. 7, 11. They just have higher movement. 7, 12, 7, 11. Do not know. I mean, I know it's a story, and I thought there was a campaign. So when we read through that, maybe there is. Maybe you're supposed to do them in a particular order, or you can just do them in any order. All right. So the next 2 pieces are a pain in this box. So if you notice, down here is the game tray insert. It doesn't come out because it's got this big box. This big box has no way for you to really get this without stretching the box sides. And I noticed that when we did the first unboxing, and it is kind of saying, and then this just ends up popping off. The lid for the cards just popped right off. So that's the first thing I noticed, right? So it's got the game tray insert under here. I would say what you'd probably want to do is cut this off. Just cut that piece off. That way you can pull this tray out, and then it makes it easier to get to the cards if you want to. There might be a better way. Somebody else might have a better way. So this was the problem I had here. So this was somebody, luckily on Board Game Geek, put an image, and this is how they did it, right? There's no right or wrong way to do this, because in here they didn't do a good job setting this organization up for everything. So those are the river tiles, right, on top. You have the barn here. You have this piece, but if you notice, see, that's kind of loose because it doesn't sit. There's these little gullies right here that this is supposed to sit into, and it really doesn't. Now, it does when there's weight on it, but before there's weight on it, it really doesn't. And then you have the cornfield. These fit fine. These smaller tiles, they all fit down there perfectly fine. So you get an outhouse, picnic, satanic circles. Oh, they're wheat fields on the other side. All right. So, yeah. Are all the wheat fields satanic circles? Or is it just one out of all of them? Is it a mystery? Mystery? No, they're all satanic circles. So why does it matter? Unless you're supposed to get one that isn't a satanic circle, and we didn't get that one. All right, so those fit fine. Those fit fine. Right? This fits fine because that's where you can tell that's where it's cut out. That's where that's supposed to go. I put the bags down here because I was like, where else am I going to put them? But technically the bags can go anywhere. And then you have all these little tiles that kind of sit down here by themselves. Now, technically, I guess you could take these little tiles out, and like this fits in there, right? This does not, it's too big. And these don't fit down in there either. So I see why the other person on Board Game Geek put this on top, because there's really no reason to put that in there, because it doesn't, see now this won't fit there. You can kind of maybe do like this. No, see that doesn't fit 3. You do 2 wide. And really can't, you see, you can't even do 2 wide. See, this makes this area makes absolutely no sense from a storage perspective. Now I guess you could do that many, which would work fine. I think that would be fine if you did that many down in there. Then you just don't have to have this other one up top. But yeah, so that was the one gripe that even I had when I opened it up. I'm like, how did all these tiles go down in there? So here are the dice. So you got, it's 8-sided die, and then you have this action, which is what, the 1? No, there's 1. 1, 2. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's 10-sided die, so that's a 10. I think an 8-sided. I was going 8-sided, but no, it's 10-sided. So 10-sided die for attacking and doing stuff. These are fence tiles. They fit perfectly in there. And then these are like other just terrain tiles. So you got some bombs. You got some graves, which you got graves on the backside. And then you got these little dog bones, which I don't know, just a whole bunch of dog bones. I don't know what the dog bones do. Yeah, they fit fine down in there. So that was good. All right, so let's see if we can get. Let's see if I remember how I did this. You do get 2 bags. I don't know why there are 2 bags. Assorted goods and coin purse. Nobody knows what the bags are for, from what I can understand. Somebody else said they're just using it to store components. And anytime you have to do a random draw, which I don't think happens that often. Like these tiles right under there would be random draw when you set them out. But that's pretty much it. That's the only time you have a random draw. Guess I should put both strings on the same side now that I have it sitting higher than last time. So yeah, so that fits in there fine. This fits here when you have some weight on it. That can go there. These can go there, right? And then baddies sit down in there, right? So we'll put the rest of the stuff back in once we're done. So this is the card box. So it does have a nice card box. Everything kind of goes in here. It stays in pretty good. As you notice, those kind of fell out. Like they kind of get pushed forward because it's not full and there's nothing here to hold it in. But these are for each of the bad guys. So this would be, I don't want to go through all the bad guys. So we'll just go through the first one here, which is, who's this? This is Bort. So this is Bort's cards. So trip and slip, selfie with locals. So basically each one has what he's doing, who he's going to target, and then basically what happens and if there's any after effects for it. So yeah, so just basically this is their action deck. So their action selection AI deck. And I think that's one of the things people like about Death May Die is that the action deck is the AI is very well done and nobody's really been able to replicate it. But I know, again, Quackalope, I know, played this and he really liked the way it works. So I'm thinking that they may have gotten their action deck pretty good. So here's your unique gear. You got a little divider card. Yes, the backs. And then the fronts. So smelly bait. Some unexpected violence. I'm reading run card and then the next. Oh, man. So yeah, so here is your gear to be able to get. You have ruffian gear. So this is the stuff that looks like she sells you. She sells seashells at the seashore. Well, no, she's the peddler's the one that sells you. I don't know who the ruffian's when you kill the ruffian. I guess you get ruffian gear. So yeah, Bort's fanny pack. Okay, so yeah, it's the ruffian that you kill you get some of their stuff to basically upgrade your character and make them better. That is the Ruffian gear. And then you have the Peddler gear, which there's way too much, so I'll just grab a little pile here. There's way too many. So Money Magnet. This one I think I remember doing Quackalop's play. They played the Money Magnet, which gets you more money. Boom. Yeah, so tons and tons of gear. Not in here the same direction, but there's tons and tons of gear. Again, this has been played, which is why all this is done. I don't remember who the reviewer was. His name was Michael. I remember that. I know where he's located, which is near me, which would make sense why we got this copy, because they may have a copy floating around the East Coast and a copy floating around the West Coast. So that's that. Starting gear. Starting gear. So you have the Rudy Tudor, Granny's Cane. So does this go to a specific? Yeah, so it goes to Granny Melba. Granny Melba. Okay. So each one of them has their own starting items that they. Old Smacky. Rubbery bat. Yeah, that's gonna hurt somebody. A rubbery bat. Alright, so that's your starting gear. Feats of Metal. What are these? We got Feats of Metal cards, which has a metal. Eagle Isle. End of town phase with 1 ACC or higher. You get 1 point if you achieve this. Okay, so it's like objectives. All right, and then you get bonuses from completing the objective, which makes sense. You need to have objectives, otherwise, how do you get better? And then in the back on this side, there is the large card storage. So it's kind of same thing. It's just kind of sliding up on it. Yeah, so it's not really sitting there. So your terrain deck. Wooden fence, buzzing. So the back says terrain deck. I'm not sure when you pull these, or maybe you have to read this when you go to that terrain. It just tells you how that terrain works. Doc's Hut, Picnic, Detonator. So these are all those, some of the tiny, some of the big cards that were in that box there. And then the last deck is the town events. Also, I can tell you this is tight. This is not going to fit sleeves. So if you're a sleever, this definitely is not going to fit sleeves inside of this insert that's already in here. Crit hit. All right, so these are your player aids. Turn cheat sheet. Okay. Player aids. Yeah, see, I'm just having a hard time getting them just to go back in themselves because it's such. I mean, it's zero space. I mean, even in penny sleeves, which I usually just use penny sleeves, penny sleeves would be too big for this to make them all fit. I hope they didn't sell sleeves as part of the Kickstarter. Town events. So secret. We'll only go this one because since it says secret, we'll just. So head of the pack, turn event. You're ready to get into the action. You want to show these ruffian what happens when you mess with Eureka Springs. Keep this card face down in front of you. You may reveal it during your turn to place your townfolk adjacent to the ruffian and gain 4 ACC until the end of your turn. Discard. Okay, so this is a secret event that person gets to keep. Okay, so it's not secret that you guys weren't allowed to know. So yeah, so there's different events that can happen while you are playing. All right, so that's nice. Event deck. I like event decks. Event decks change up games, make some variety in there. So yeah, so that is the card deck, or the card box. It's nice. I can't say it's great. Now, I mentioned about the Standees coming with the minis, and now I'm looking at this card box. And for those of you guys that have not heard, although this is going to be a couple weeks after that, Skybound is not making a retail edition of their Minions of Morddock game, the one that just was on Kickstarter, the Ludwig's Labyrinth. And they're just going to make just the deluxe. They gave free upgrades to some people. I'm neither here nor there. I do get that it is kind of unfair to people that did pay 90, that now other people are getting it for 60. And personally, in my opinion, they should have done a maybe like a store credit And the reason I say store credit instead of like credit on their next campaign is Druid City and Skybound parted ways at mutual agreement. And I don't know if, and I'm thinking this is why they're not printing extra copies for retail instead of just the 214 backers, is because they're not keeping the rights of some of the games. Maybe even this one. It'll fall to Druid City instead of Skybound. But anyway, I digress. One of the benefits to make people happy is they're giving everybody, which kind of defeats the purpose of making the people that backed for more happy, a deck box. And I hope it's not as bad as this, right? Because that's not useful. That box, the cards slide around, and like we said, you can't fit any sleeves in there, and I know a lot of people sleeve. The other thing is they are going to, of course, give both the Standees and the minis in that game now. But I digress on all that because this is about Townsfolk Tussle. So let's get into the minis. So we did open these minis, and these felt considerably different than most minis that we've dealt with. These are just Standee bases, big Standee bases. These are just a bunch of, I think you randomly draw these tokens. And then there are some for your hit points and power tokens that go inside the dual layer boards, which dual layer boards are really nice. To be honest, the only down on this game, everything else seems like great component quality, the card stock, the minis, the boards. It's the insert, and the problem is it's a game trays insert, and they're supposed to be the best in the biz. But I think their name now has just gotten too big for themselves, and now they're just, either stretched too thin or just not doing what they could do. So back to the minis after I take a drink. So with the minis, right, they are a harder plastic than I'm used to. I'm not used to this hard plastic. Now, the weapon here is kind of soft, but the problem with hard plastic versus soft plastic is if you drop this, there is a higher chance of it breaking, which for us, we got a game table, right? Likelihood of it falling off the table, hitting the floor, not as high. But for other gamers that don't have a game table, I don't know. If you guys know the difference and you guys can hear that, I don't know what type of plastic this is, but it's not like your Simon or really any other miniature game we bought. It is very hard. On the opposite side, very hard means less bending, and you also get more detail. So as you can see here, the detail on these is outstanding, right? I am very disappointed we don't get to paint these. Audrey was too. When we did the unboxing, I told her, oh, this is a game we don't get to keep. We can't paint those. She wasn't as happy about unboxing it anymore. But there we go. There is the Scarecrow guy. I don't know their names. So here is the umbrella person. So, and they even got the detail up underneath that umbrella. And that might be another reason, like, see, things like this with this hard plastic, it's more susceptible. It could break. Oh, I didn't even notice it. It's got a hand coming out of the ground. Look at that. That's so cute. I'd say cute. It's more cool than cute. It's not really that cute that you see a dead hand coming out of the ground. There's dead body parts everywhere with the bad guys. This guy have anything? No. So the Scarecrow didn't have anything. Maybe they all don't. Okay, so he's got dead body parts. He's got the foot and a hand. But yeah, there you go. Okay, just the detail is outstanding. I mean, you can see that crease. So this hard plastic, thumbs up for the hard plastic for painters, for the detail. Not maybe as good if you are somebody that fumbles things around. But even there, all the detail in here with the fur around the edges, you can see everything. There's coins. You can see the coins, right? So that is the twins, the king and queen. It's got to go. Okay, it goes in that way. And then this is the. I don't know what she is. She's the knife thrower lady. She's the knife thrower. I think these are still. Yeah, these are still bad guys. These are all bad guys. This is the dead guy in a wheelbarrow, in dirt. And yeah, it's got the little thingies there. Is there anything else I can want to see? Any more detail on the bottom here? Oh, there's a skull, little skull down there at the bottom. There's a lot of, I've noticed, they look like starfish, but they're actually, I think, just supposed to be like a plant, but they kind of look like starfishes. This is the, I don't know, some kind of gross ground thing. Oh, there's somebody underneath. Oh, that's neat. There. And they did such a great job. The minis look very, very much like the art, right? She goes in there a certain way, I'm guessing in that. Cowpoke Kitty. I don't remember where the Cowpoke Kitty is. I didn't see anybody with the deputy dog, so I don't think there's a bad guy. I think he's a good guy, but maybe he goes with one of the bad guys. But he's a little chihuahua, crazy bug-eyed doggy with revolvers attached to him. Okay, what do we get next? The frog. I mean, look at that. Look at the warts on his tongue. I mean, the bread or whatever it is he's got there, bombs. Who knows? And then it's got. I just noticed that there's an arrow to show front. Did they all have the arrow? Yeah, they've all got this arrow to show front. So you can just, if you're painting them, you can just like paint that in like red or something, so that way it stands out, so you know that that's the front. All right, so there is the old sheriff, not the new sheriff. So he's kind of basic though. He doesn't have much detail. I mean, he's got on his shirt and stuff like that. Like I would, because it's a sheriff and it's blue instead of, he looks like a lumberjack, so I'm thinking I'm expecting a plaid shirt, and it's not. You got the safe, which is kind of neat. So inside there is gonna be a pain in the neck to paint. Look at that face. Face of your nightmares. You got some coins down here on the floor again. Face only a mother could love. Oh, and there's a book on top. No writing on the book though. No writing on the book. Or maybe that's not supposed to be a book. Maybe it's just the top of the safe, and it's supposed to look like that old hairstyle where it was like parted in the middle, right? And I'm doing it on my hat as if I have hair up there to show you guys. And then you got the guy with lots of hands. It's like a duck with lots of hands. Or it's like a peacock. Hey, he's supposed to be like a peacock, but he's got a lot of hands. And a nice little, how you doing hand down there on the bottom. But again, same detail. And you look at his teeth, like you can see every single tooth. See every single tooth in there. All right. So now we get to the heroes. So these are the twins. Oh, they're Siamese twins. They're connected. And she's got a knife behind her back. A mega horn. I don't know what the mega horn's for. Look at it. Even the jewels. You can see the jewels there on her neck. Awesome. Great job on the minis. There is an extra token tray here. I wasn't sure what was supposed to go in here when we did the last unboxing. I saw it in another picture. It's a token tray. There's the guy that is dead and is being ran by his stomach. So he's a dead goat being controlled by his stomach. And that's kind of funny because, you know, goats eat everything, right? And that's kind of his thing, is he eats things. So he's cool. You got the anvil guy. So he's like an anvil. Pliers down. The pliers and the screwdriver down on the floor. Oh, he's got a wrench hand. I didn't even notice that. I looked at the art. So I'm noticing thing on the minis that I didn't see in the art. What is this? This is... Okay, that's the old lady. Old lady with a gun. Watch out. Granny's got a gun. All right. And then... this is the little boy. So if I remember correctly, like he refreshes easier because he's young, right? So he's a whippersnapper. He's got a slingshot down there on the base. He's got his Boy Scout regalia on. We have a chicken. That's just funny. You can play as a chicken. You can play as a chicken. Oh, he's got eggs. He laid an egg, or I guess she laid an egg, because it's hen. The first part of the name was hen something. So I guess it's a girl chicken. And then you got this guy, and I forget who this guy was. He's like a sea guy. Yeah, I guess he's like a sea man. He's got a little fish there. He's catching. Just great detail in these minis. So that is the minis. All right, so let's see if we can get the rest of the stuff back in the box. And then that will be the reboxing portion. So you guys saw at the bottom, basically the tiles all go down in the very bottom with if you're catching now and you didn't catch earlier in the video, down at the bottom are all the tiles. There is no rhyme or reason for the way the tiles go in. I can tell you the big tiles go there. I can tell you that the little tiles and the fence go there. And then randomly other tiles go underneath these bags. That's pretty much it. And then you got these tiles that go there, there, and these just kind of go in there. It was one of my, it's one of the things, like I said, that in this design, and even what's bad is in the design that was shown in one of the updates, the bottom made much more sense. So something happened from that design to this design. So, you put these in here, like so. Then you put Granny and Company there. And then you put this. Put this. Oops. Wrong order. I gotta put that in first. This is just like normally putting a board game. You always have pieces left over. There. That goes first. Then this. Then this. There we go. All right. So next really doesn't matter what else you put in what order. There will be a little bit of lid lift with ours, or this copy. Again, this was a review copy sent to us. And the reason is the Standees have not been punched yet. So there will be a little bit of lid lift because of that. So I'll show what it is. So this is what it is with the box. So I think even without the Standees, there'd be a little bit of lid lift because this is not a thin manual. Yeah, this is definitely a packed full box. So if they were to when they reprint this, because it is going to go back to Kickstarter, probably with like an expansion, more guys to fight, they need to probably maybe expand this just a little bit. But here's my only problem with that is they come out with an expansion. This box is not going to fit that expansion, right? So you're not going to get a single box. Now, speaking of Crackalope, I know he was on the box somewhere. There we go. Whack. All right. So there we go. There we go. Everything goes back in the box. All right, guys. That is Townsfolk Tussle. That is an unboxing and a reboxing. If you would like to see us play this game live, like I said, we're going to try to get as much content as we can before we have to pass it on to the next reviewer. Let us know down in the comments if there's a particular boss or particular characters you'd like to see. Make sure you let us know which ones those are. So if we only get to play it once live for you guys, we know who that is. Like, subscribe, bell notification, hit that reminder on the scheduled video, because I should have a Townsfolk Tussle gameplay scheduled already. That way, well, we get to get more subscribers, help viewers, people come out to chat. All that stuff that YouTube wants you to do that stuff for us. We'd appreciate it. But until next time, guys. Peace.